Hi everybody, I'm Zilla Blitz and welcome to the second episode in our U-Boat series with Raiders of the Deep from Compass Games. We're going on our second patrol now. It's November 1914. We have survived our first patrol and taken down one enemy ship. Now, one quick thing before we get started, I've put a poll up on the community page of the channel to nickname our U9 U-Boat. We've got 5 candidates. I narrowed it down from all the suggestions. Thanks so much to everybody who put suggestions in the comments. Narrowing it down was hard. Our 5 candidates: Blitzschlag, Lightning Strike, Skewerfish, the Swordfish, Der Delphin, which is the dolphin, Helga, because it's Helga, and then Teufelsfish, which is devilfish. Go vote. Whatever gets the most votes, that'll be the nickname for our U-Boat for this series. Another quick announcement, we're going to be putting these up on Mondays, so we're going to try to put them up on every Monday until we either make it through the war or they sink our U-Boat. With that being said, it's time to hunt. As we head out on our second patrol, let's recap our campaign so far. 1 patrol, 1 successful patrol because we did sink the 700-ton Malachite, a small freighter, which is the total amount of tonnage we've got so far. Commendation-wise, we do have an Iron Cross second class for a successful patrol. We get an Iron Cross first class on our second successful patrol, so that's at stake today. A quick look at our Type U5. This is the U9 U-Boat. We are armed for war. We've got our good torpedoes in the forward torpedo tubes. I made one change. These are short-range torpedoes, which aren't very good. I've got them as a forward reload, and I've put our second best torpedoes, which can be fired at medium range, in the aft torpedo tubes, thinking that if we come in at night, we could come in and do a forward and aft shot sometimes on the surface there, if that kind of makes sense. So I've got our second best torpedoes in the aft tubes now. Here is our patrol zone for today. We'll be heading out of Wilhelmshaven as we did last time, hit these 2 transit zones, and then 3 of the 4 British Isles zones. We mistakenly went a little bit too far on our first patrol, but the U5 only has a range to go to 3 of these zones. The hunting is rather sparse now, so I'm hopeful that we don't get tagged with an unsuccessful mission by not finding anything. So I'm hopeful we can find something, but the hunting at the beginning stage of the war here is rather sparse. Before we do leave, we have to roll to see if this is going to be a special patrol. Only on boxcars is it a special patrol. Nope, a 6. So this is just a regular patrol for us. Let's get this patrol started. The U9 heads out to sea into its first transit zone. Let's see if we can make it through this successfully. Hoping for nice big numbers. That works. 6 gets us through with nothing. The one we don't want to get is Snake Eyes, because that's a mine. And if we hit a mine, it can be game ending. So we want to make sure we get through safely. I thought I was going to jinx it by saying that. But the U9 heads through its 2 transit zones successfully without incident and heads up to hunt the British Isles. Now, we weren't successful until the back end of our patrol last time. This time we need a 9, 10, or 11 in order to find something. I'm hoping we can get something here. Yes! 2 ships! Oh, this is a good, auspicious start for the U9. So the first thing we need to do is to roll for the size of the ships. On a 1 to 5, they're small. On a 6, they are large. We get 2 smalls. Now we're going to go to our target roster here, and as we can see for 1914, the hunting was rather sparse, and we've already sunk the Malachite here. So we've got 5 potential targets. If we do roll a 2, we adjust, I think, down to the one that's closest in size to that. So let's see what we get. We get a 6 and a 1. The 900-ton Gleitra, and then the 2,900-ton HMS Pathfinder. A juicy, and this is a military target because it's in red. So, very interesting here. So this immediately creates an interesting situation. The Gleitra here is a regular merchant ship, while the HMS Pathfinder, we'll designate this one as the Pathfinder, is a warship. However, it doesn't constitute an escort, so we can't attack unannounced because of cruiser rules in effect right now. We can't attack unannounced the Gleitra. We can attack the Pathfinder unannounced because it's a military ship, but we can't do it on the surface unless it's at night, because this ship will blow us out of the water with all its armament. So first we have to see, let's see whether it's day or night. 1 to 3 it's day, 4 to 6 and it is night. It is daytime, which is a little bit disappointing because I was hoping to come in on the surface and launch a night torpedo attack, but it is night. I'm sorry, it is daytime. We're just going to deal with it. I am not going to risk losing them, so we're not going to follow them and try to get them at night. We are going to come in at submerged range and commit at close range. This means we won't be able to do the second salvo of torpedoes, so we're just going to be able to fire our forward torpedo tubes. We're going to fire both of our G6s here. Now, if we don't sink it on this first attack, we can roll for an additional round of combat. There's a chance an escort shows up, but if it doesn't, we can re-engage the Pathfinder again. But I'm hoping that our G6 can get this. If we could get 2 hits on it, that would do it. It's only 2 hit points, but if we could get 1 hit could do it as well. Anyway, let's see what our firing calculations here are. So there are no die roll modifiers here. It is a simple 0 to 8 to hit. The G6s are duds on 1 to 2. The black die represents the duds and the white will represent the hit. We calculate our firing solution. Let's go, Von Williams. An 8 and a 4. Yes, we just hit. Had we been at medium range, we wouldn't have. A 4 means it's a hit, and an 8 and a 4 means it's not a dud as well. So our first torpedo slams into the side of the HMS Pathfinder. This is the biggest small freighter available to target at this time of the war. Let's get a second hit. We're going to need it. 5, it hits, but it's a dud on a 2. Okay, so this one plunks harmlessly off the side of the Pathfinder. We slam 1 torpedo into the side. Let's see what type of damage we get here. No modifiers on the die roll. We need a 1, 2, or a 3 to get 2 hits on it and put it out of action. Come on, let's sink it. Oh, a 5. We only do 1 hit of damage here, so the Pathfinder is okay. God, okay, but now we can roll for an additional round of combat, and that's what we're going to do, hoping that an escort doesn't show up here, because we can kind of go at this again, but there is a very good chance, well, a reasonable chance here, that an escort shows up. Here we got the right chart. We need greater than a 5. Let's get 6 or better, please. Oh, no, an escort shows up. Okay, so now we have to see if it detects us and rams us. All right, so on the escort detection chart here, normally we need an 8 or less to be undetected. The range modifiers don't apply in this situation. So normally there would be a +1 modifier at close range, but on this detection in between rounds, that doesn't apply. However, the +1 for using a torpedo during the day, basically they can follow the bubbles to see where we went, does apply. So we need a 7 or less for them to not know where we were. Come on, let's stay safe. Whew. They almost found us, but they did not. We survived. Okay, so now we've got the situation. I've got to check this here because we've got the damaged HMS Pathfinder, we've got an escort with it, and we've got the small freighter, the Gleetra. We're going to try to follow the Pathfinder because we want to put it out of its misery here. Okay, so we have the option to follow either the damaged ship or the undamaged ship. We're going to follow the Pathfinder. It's the juicier target, and we only need to put 1 more hit on it. And because it's damaged, following is automatic. So the Gleetra is going to separate from the Pathfinder. We can automatically follow it, and we can automatically pick either day or night. So we will shift here to night. Now we do have 1 more roll to make, which is to see whether the escort abandoned the Pathfinder or stayed with it. On a 1 to 4, the escort sticks with it. On a 5 or a 6, it abandons it. Let's say goodbye. Yes! Most excellent. So the escorts give up and leave the Pathfinder to its own fate, making it another case where we can come in again at night and attack the Pathfinder. All right, so we have made our calculations here. We can come in on the surface and use our torpedoes because it's nighttime, and even though this is a warship. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to fire actually our aft torpedoes because they are duds on a 1 to 2. We've got our lousy forward torpedoes here. Technically, we could fire all 4 torpedoes here with the second salvo, but I don't want to do that. I want to save our other torpedoes in case we can use them later here. So we're going to fire our C6s at close range. Now this is a night attack as well, so we get a -1 modifier, and there's nothing else that matters. So instead of a 0 to 8, we need a 0 to 9 to hit this. A dud on a 1 or a 2, fire 1. A 5 and it hits. This is the end of the Pathfinder because we're going to do at least one hit of damage here. Second one is a 7 and a 4. It hits as well. Von Williams, our first watch officer, dialing up some great coordinates on that one. Punches 2 torpedoes into the side here. Let's see what damage we do. I'll roll for both hits now. A 1 which does 5 hits of damage and a 3 that does 2. We do 7 hits of damage on the Pathfinder, absolutely shattering it and sending it to the bottom of the ocean. Excellent work by the U-9. We've had our second successful patrol and we're only in our first transit box. Let's get out of here and continue patrolling. So our first patrol zone, a resounding success off the southwest coast of Norway there. Let's go to our second patrol zone and see what we get. Once again, we need a 9 to 11, a 6. We get nothing. Let's go to our third and final patrol zone. I'm really happy we got a ship here on the second patrol because even on the first one too, because rolling to a 9 to 11 is hard to do. We've been fortunate here on these patrols. Here we go again. 5. We fail again this time. And with that, U-9 heads back home to the transit zone. Again, this time I'm getting it right. We only have the range to do 3 of those zones, not 4. Now we come to the transit zones, hoping for big numbers here. We want to avoid the deadly mines. An 8, we are through our first zone. Let's go into our second transit zone, heading back to Wilhelmshaven. We can see it off the coast here now. A 9, and we're back in. Most excellent. A very eventful start to the patrol. A rather drawn out affair with the HMS Pathfinder, but once again, the U-9 is successful. Back in port, we can rest and refit and recuperate. We get the Iron Cross First Class because it's our second successful patrol, giving us 2 commendations. To sum up this patrol, it was a success because we sank an enemy ship. We got the HMS Pathfinder at 2,900 tons, a military ship this time. And on our previous patrol, we got the Malachite at 700 tons, giving us 2 patrols, 2 successes, 3,600 total tons sunk. So not a lot of tons yet, but considering the hunting is sparse here in 1914 and early 1915, I am extraordinarily happy with how things have proceeded here. Now we're going to go refit our sub, which will take only 1 month because we've had no damage. So we'll load it back up and we'll get everything refitted and ready to go. And then in January 1915, we will be back out into the British Isles under the same hunting conditions as we've had so far. So still sparse. As we get into March of 1915, the patrols, the targets in the British Isles get much juicier, a lot more merchant traffic and a lot more opportunities for us to sink enemy ships. But for now, we're going to have this sparse hunting. Hopefully we can get something on our third patrol as well. We've been pretty fortunate on the first 2 patrols, and this time we didn't get rammed and almost get sunk, which is always good. Submarine Monday, we'll be back in a week for our third patrol. Please go vote on the nickname for the U-9, and thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next episode.